I'll start. First thing, we've got to keep coaching them better, especially when we start to lose confidence, like we had the other night a little bit, and that happens. Unfortunately, when you've been so close as we've been in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we had the A&M win, which helped us, but then we have some other games where they're tale of different games. You know, whether you're playing great, then all of a sudden you're not, and you can't finish it off, and it's very, very easy to lose confidence. And we just got to help guide them through that psychologically and understand that the way these things get done is you just stay in the fight, you stay physical, you stay aggressive, you trust your offense, but at the end of the day, you've got to get stops defensively, and we just got to keep believing that we can do those type of things. So it's all part of a process right now of getting an understanding of what it takes for us to overcome different things that go on in a game, and believe that we can do it, because we have. And so it's just a matter of being able to rekindle that as we go through it. As far as A&M, they are going to be very, very tough to deal with at home. They've had some great games. They've had some big road wins. They've had some big home wins. They've had close games all throughout the season. And it should be a great crowd in there on a Saturday afternoon in College Station. And we know that they'll be ready to play. I mean, again, what they're doing inside, what they're doing physically with Nebo and Flag, and the way that they can play. Miller, I think in the last 3 games, is averaging almost 5 offensive rebounds a game. And Quentin Jackson is leading them in scoring the last 3 games, I think it is. So they're bringing a lot of different guys into the game that can make plays, and we've got to be able to deal with that. And at the same time, we've got to be able to play the way that we need to play. You know, we've got to attack their pressure. We've got to make the next pass, which was something we did not cut very well the other night. We had too many turnovers because we're trying to make some things happen that aren't there, rather than keep it simple. And you got to keep it simple against a team like A&M because of the way they jump in and try to draw charges. And so we've got to do a very, very good job there. But go ahead.
When you talk about losing confidence, is that harder for the younger players, the freshmen, again, because these are kids who all they've known is success pretty much all their life?
Well, yeah, definitely. But at the same time, we don't have upperclassmen that have had sustained success.
True.
Right? So that becomes an issue. They don't have what they can fall back on, right? And remind the young guys and their own level of confidence. So you just got to work through the entire thing, especially when you don't have that many veterans, and the ones that you have been through some tough games, right? So it's just got to be collective. It's like leadership. It's got to be collective. If there's not going to be 1 or 2 people that set the tone with that, then you've got to get it for more people, and everybody's got to understand their role in it. But at the end of the day, we got to coach them better. We got to help them better with that, and continue to push, right? And not, I'm not a panicky, get jumpy, get uptight guy in these games. You know, when we're down, I know it's a long, long game. But me being a 53-year-old, 20-year head coach, and then being new players, understanding the length of the game is 2 entirely different worlds right now. And we've just got to keep making sure we get that, do our best to get that across.
And the fact that you've been at this so long, you've been in this very similar situation before with your other stuff, does that kind of help you through this process as you get your...
Oh, it helps me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But you want to help them, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, you want to win for them. You want to win for your fans. You want them to feel success. And so we just got to keep doing what we can do to help them see where we're making mistakes, what we can do to correct them, and stay true to what we need to do to win the game.
You mentioned lack of fight, I think, in that game the other night. Have you seen anything?
Well, I didn't see us fight. It was like we didn't match up with their physicality. Is probably a much better way to look at it. They were much more physical and aggressive than we were. You know, I don't think we continued to go. We continued to play. We actually cut it to 14 at one point, but we never matched up with them physically the way it was, and so therefore it didn't look like that we were really in the fight.
Severe's kind of going back home, I guess you can say, this week. Is that good for a guy like that?
Oh, I'm sure it is. His whole family be able to see him. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's fantastic. Be able to get back into, you can see the football stadium from where he lives. So absolutely, it's great for him.
Kind of a house cleaning question, I guess. I haven't asked you lately about Jaquan Walton. I know he hasn't played the last 7 games. Kind of what's the situation?
Well, he's just, it's a very competitive situation right now to get into the games. And he's practicing better, practicing harder, and trying to do what he can do to improve and help us win. His attitude's remained very good, and I think that's the most important thing. And just keep chipping away and be ready for his opportunity.
No injury situation with him right now?
Not right now, no. No.
Cool. When you talk about needing collective leadership from the team, how have maybe the struggles with that? Like, how exactly does that affect a team? Like, for example, the first half the other night when the offensive struggles snowball. How does
Sure.
the lack of collective leadership?
Well, I think you got to be able to look. Great leadership is safety. You know, you feel safe because somebody's out there. You feel like it's going to turn because somebody's out there. And we need more of that from Anthony, even though he's 18, right? We need more of that from him. We need more of that verbal and him playing with that, even when it's not going as well, is like that higher level of energy in that. Because certain guys have that. You know, he's one of those guys that have that. But we don't have it verbally as much as you need to have it. And I think that the coach can preach it's going to be all right all he wants, but you've got to be able to look out there and know you're in it together with those guys and feel better about it, right? Feel better about it, like we're going to get through this. And it's not just self-talk, it's verbal talk, it's huddle talk, it's on the court talk, you know, those type of things make that happen. And we're not very good at that yet. I mean, that's a weakness of ours right now that we've got to be able to overcome and that we've got to be able to grow through it, you know, overcome it and grow through it. So those are things that make it hard. And again, the psychology of losing confidence is when that head goes down early, like it did the other night, and you're fighting to get their spirit back up inside of the game. That's where you know that there's a chance of losing confidence, and you don't want to do that, right? You want to continue to work through that the best that you can. But it would be very, very good to have a couple of guys have some early success, say, okay, we're going to be fine, right? And that's what we need to grow into.
Does having a win against A&M give y'all maybe some confidence?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, absolutely. We want to win every game, so I mean, absolutely it would. You know, it is going to be a battle to go in there, but absolutely it would.
Guys like Rodney and Mike playing recently, is that an effort to kind of combat the size disadvantage?
Absolutely, yeah. And they're practicing better. And you know, Rodney did a good job the other night. Mike has started to do a good job, and we've got to be more physical inside. I mean, we've got to be able to compete better around the backboards. We've got to be able to compete better around the rim. And we've got to be more physical defensively, and those guys are providing that.
Time for maybe one more question.
I know Tumani, he had, I think, 5 turnovers just in the first
Yeah, it's
half.
too many.
Is he trying to do too much? You know,
Maybe a little bit, maybe not reading he's got to cut more, you know, get out of the corner a little bit more, cut in the slot, be in the wing more, and look for drives, look for cuts, continue to get on the glass. And again, we turn it over when we're not cutting and moving as well. And that's what we can't have. We've got to play through that every time, as much as we can.